So, good morning, everybody. We are just waiting that the participant enter the room for a couple of minutes, and we will start. Okay, let's start. So good morning to everybody. Welcome to this first webinar of the ONTOCHAIN Open Call 2, Protocol Suite and Software Ecosystem Foundation. I am Caroline Barrel, the coordinator of this project. And I just want to remind you that this presentation is recorded. So let's move directly to the presentation of the ONTOCHAIN consortium. We are 7 core partners, beginning with European Dynamics as coordinator of the project in Luxembourg. Then we have the technical partners with the University of Ljubljana, actually the technical coordinator of the project. We have IXEC, a company located in France. We have Semantic, a company located in Italy. And the University of Athens for economics and business, so in Greece. Regarding, let's say, communication, exploitation, dissemination, we have 2 major also partners, F6S in Ireland and the AHK in Greece. So here are the main partners of the consortium. Regarding the agenda of this webinar, we will start to describe a bit the ONTOCHAIN project. Then we will move to the Open Call 2 and its 6 topics. So the discussion will be more technical at that point. Finally, we will move to how you can apply with the eligibility criteria and selection process, the application process, and why it is important for you to apply, what's in it for you. And then we will have one of our innovator of the call 1, Marcel Müller from the project KnowledgeX, that will explain a bit his feedback and his experience on what's happened in Open Call 1. And finally, we will move to the Q&A session. So regarding the ONTOCHAIN project, the ONTOCHAIN, in brief, this is a traceable and transparent ontological knowledge on blockchain. It is a European project funded by the European Commission. It is part also of the NGI initiative of the European Commission, so Next Generation Internet Initiative. It was launched in September 2020 to empower innovators and users through 3 open calls to develop blockchain-based knowledge management solution that will be part of a novel software ecosystem, and this for a better share of knowledge and value. There is up to €4.2 million funding and mentoring program. So with best international experts in semantic web, linked data, ontology engineering, blockchain interoperability, knowledge management, distributed and decentralized computing, business models for trust knowledge, and so forth. The objective of ONTOCHAIN today, more than ever, our digital life is an extension of our physical world, and it is now possible for everybody from all over the world to participate in the generation and use of knowledge content like never before. However, what we can observe is that when it comes to the exchange of knowledge, Internet can't assure that bias or systematic abuse of global trust are avoided. And the way knowledge is generated, curated, and stored raise actually effectively some concern. Citizens everywhere are at risk of being presented partial or biased information reflecting the viewpoint of their provider. So it is thus the time from now on to handle this digital life with the same critical, moral, and ethical thinking that we use in our physical world. And for that, we hope that the Internet of the future should be more resilient, trustworthy, and sustainable. And thus, the objective of ONTOCHAIN regarding that aspect are to develop a new software technologies stack at the meeting point between the semantic web and blockchain to enable trustworthy data and services exchange, as well as trustworthy content and link for different domains, such as e-education, e-health, e-government, e-commerce, e-tourism, e-infrastructure, industry 4.0, etc., etc. So if we come to ONTOCHAIN development and implementation in practice, so there is, as aforementioned, 3 open calls with up to 4.2 million euro funding. This is all about co-design and win-win exploitation. The open call one, namely research, is already in progress, and it is about specifying the ONTOCHAIN framework as a human-centric, decentralized, and trustworthy solution based on available technology. A first batch of specification have been delivered by 17 projects in phase 1 of the call, and 7 remaining teams will deliver the full ONTOCHAIN framework in September 2021. The open call 2, so the call that concerns us today, is about building the ONTOCHAIN software ecosystem for the creation of a trustworthy information service exchange process and a more trustworthy content and link. This call aims to deliver the ONTOCHAIN framework prototype based on the specification that will have been designed in open call 1. Open call 3 is about application and experimentation. It will start in 2022, and the idea here will be to exploit the ONTOCHAIN solution for real life use cases. So your mission, actually, when applying, is to imagine and engineer the next generation Internet and develop blocks of this software ecosystem, ONTOCHAIN, that will serve the trust, knowledge, and information needs of humanity. You will contribute to a resilient Internet with protection of privacy, user empowerment, inclusiveness, openness, you will contribute also to a trustworthy internet with trustworthy content, information exchange, identity. And finally, to a sustainable internet with interoperable services and data traceability. So let's move to the open call to, let's say the ID card. This is thus about the Protocol Suite and Software Ecosystem Foundation. The call has been launched the 15th of July. The deadline for application is the 15th of September. There is a maximum funding per applicant of 145k euro. There is two types of projects, long project that will last 10 months, small project that will last 5 months. I will come back at the end of this presentation in order to explain you a bit how it will work. And there is, you will have to base your proposal on one of the 6 topics aforementioned in this slide. Plus, we also provide the opportunity for some applicants to propose open topic that will serve the ONTOCHAIN ecosystem. So these 6 topics are Decentralized Oracle for ONTOCHAIN, Market Mechanism for ONTOCHAIN, ONTOCHAIN Interoperability and API Gateways, ONTOCHAIN Network Design and Scalability, Semantic-based marketplaces for ONTOCHAIN, and data provenance in ONTOCHAIN, plus this open topic. So I will leave now the floor to Vlado, our technical coordinator, and Thanasis, that will explain you more about the technical aspect of this open call. So Vlado, please.
Thank you, and hello, everyone. Here, I want to say in the beginning that in the first call, we had received over 440 applications, out of which we selected around 17 projects that were centered around several core building blocks. So something that we thought are really high quality projects and present specific building blocks of technologies that can contribute to building trust in the data and the services that are being exchanged freely in a decentralized environment. We even the proposal time, we prepared some architecture of what we thought should be these core building blocks, and many of those building blocks were actually addressed in the first open call. So, for example, we had projects dealing with, and we have currently running projects dealing with authorization, certification, also of the processes of transforming the data and the metadata, starting from raw data coming from outside the blockchains towards data that can be verified and certified by using blockchains. Then identity management that can significantly contribute to the trust. Then again, the self-sovereign identity type of solutions that could also significantly contribute to the privacy and the way how people deal with their personal data and their personal digital assets. Then we have also projects dealing with core technologies for blockchain-based metadata and data management, including, for example, graph operations on blockchain and ontology representations, and so on. So these are projects that started and are currently going towards delivering open source software prototypes, and are going to become part of our software ecosystem. But in the second call, what we want to see is now a more steady integration of software, of open source software technologies that would be used further on in the third call for technology demonstration of different application prototypes. So I pass now the word to Thanasis, who is going to probably explain more things around this figure, and the next one about the orthogonal topics.
So hello, this is Thanasis Papaioannou from Athens University of Economics and Business. So as you see in this figure, we are trying to build a platform here that will support the future innovative semantically enriched and trustworthy decentralized applications. So we have a bunch of APIs already made within the first call. We look for new APIs that will support new functionality in the second open call. The green boxes overall have been worked on already. The blue boxes, or the light blue boxes, are those boxes that are currently empty and that we are currently focusing on in the second year. And of course, whatever is going to be left is going to be also the focus of the third year. As Vlad already mentioned, overall, this call is about building the framework. And the third year is going to be about building end user applications on top of the framework. So let's see the verticals. Next slide, please. Caroline. So there are several orthogonal viewpoints in this open call too. We are looking for framework prototypes for human-centric, decentralized, and trustworthy solutions. Specific software solutions that can be used widely in general. Trustworthy information and service exchange processes. We want to boost this aspect, although there is some work in that respect. More trustworthy content handling. We also have some work in that respect from the open call one. Probably it would be more obvious later when one of the applicants is going to present about that. And we want to extend the use case and the architecture plan of ONTOCHAIN overall, and we want trusted, traceable, and transparent ontological knowledge management. These are the overall, let's say, objectives, but let's see how we materialize these objectives through the calls. Next slide, please. So, Vlado.
I think one of the, this is, what you see in this slide can be seen as a use case. That is giving us good focus in the project. And it's also helping us to integrate the different ideas around something that we called the trustworthy semantic marketplace. So we know that if somebody goes to the marketplace that somebody doesn't know, for example, in another city, then it's very difficult to choose from the products there because we don't know whether we can trust the producers of those articles and the quality and the type of treatment, for example, the chicken that laid the eggs, or I don't know, the cows that did the milk, and so on, did have. And it maybe is an important criteria for us to make a decision at this marketplace. In blockchains, everything is decentralized, and speaking about any digital or physical assets, we can think of having them semantically described with maybe rich ontological formats. And we look at use cases which are either centered around the trading, where trust is really essential, and where identities could play a role, where, for example, we should be able to verify potentially the credentials, potentially the certificates of the producers, potentially the reputation of those producers, and by using either on-chain or off-chain data. So imagining this as a tool of maybe some web application, it's the place where one can do the publication of what is being offered, but then on the other side, other participants in the market can verify the information, maybe do some other trading, enabling the content or the physical assets to be traded on, and so on. So what we talk about is the semantic blockchain-based information, and this is the centerpiece where we wish the participants actually to move towards the ideas of this project and actually become core part of the software ecosystem that we are building. So maybe if we go further, I think there are the topics that Thanasis is going to explain, few of them. So please, Thanasis.
So as Vlado said, this was the overall, let's say, one of the overall motivating use cases, for which there are several parts. Let's see what is missing now and what we want from this second open call. First topic is going to be around decentralized oracles. You know that data from the outside world occasionally needs to be used by smart contracts in the blockchain. So whether this information is trustworthy or it doesn't have to be trustworthy, we need to implement this kind of functionality in a generic way for various decentralized applications to be able to use it, and various kinds of different smart contracts. So we need to define APIs for common generic use cases of employing smart contracts, to integrate at least Ethereum smart contracts and the Ethereum virtual machine. Although additional support for additional chains can be there and is encouraged. We want to support oracles for, we want to develop oracles for semantic data and oracles that support semantic queries to support a variety of data sources like IoT data, like in general sensor data. It can be different kinds of news feeds or different kinds of oracles, either categorical or numerical data, and time series or not. And we want to integrate identity verification or decentralized identity management to the whereabouts of this data, and new trust building mechanisms to assure the authenticity and the trustworthiness of these data feeds. And in the next topic, we want to boost this. We had this topic in the first call. We want to further emphasize on building support for market mechanisms for the ONTOCHAIN platform. So we want to design, implement, and showcase prototype services for advanced decentralized markets and market applications. And we want business enabling mechanisms that offer win-win solutions for all involved stakeholders in this marketplace. And we don't only deal with trustworthy services and exchange and trustworthy content handling, but we also want support for the full cycle of the commerce in this environment. So, for example, we want support for token minting and distribution. In general, we want support for digitization of physical or virtual assets, support for any kind of market enabling mechanisms. For example, I mentioned here decentralized price determination mechanisms. Consider auctions that are running in the blockchain. It's not very easy to consider. I mean, you have to do it more properly than the usual way. Support, of course, for mere service and products exchange and the materialization of this in the blockchain, and the connection of this with the supply chains, and the connection of this with the billing systems of the existing companies. So we want existing companies to be able to really transfer their work into the ONTOCHAIN platform in the smoothest way possible. And we want also to support efficient decentralized finance applications, and in general design new economic model prototypes for all involved, and new business models for involved stakeholders in this marketplace. Next topic, Lado.
So I think in the topic 3, what we want to see, and we see the future where there are many different blockchains on which many different applications are running. And what we want to do is to have this support that our own infrastructure of ONTOCHAIN is going to be able to interact, and maybe other blockchains are going to also be able to utilize the semantic management capabilities of the ONTOCHAIN network. So what we are looking for is API gateways for bidirectional operations, where it could be possible to transfer, for example, information and assets between the networks, and actually be able to do transactions from, let's say, Ethereum towards the ONTOCHAIN network, or vice versa, from the ONTOCHAIN network towards maybe Tezos, Hyperledger Fabric. We heard Stellar and other technologies. What we are looking for is the support for ERC20, 722, 777, and 1155 semi-fungible tokens. The solutions must rely as much as possible on industry-wide standards. So with this approach, we wish to achieve really the widest possible uptake of the technology, and actually, at least in experimental, but also maybe in other application usages that could be foreseen in the 3rd year of the project. The trust, validity, and critical metadata attached to data transactions must be preserved during a transfer between ONTOCHAIN and with external blockchains. So this has to be also explained in the upcoming proposals. And also some methods it would be interesting to see that would reduce the computational complexity and the sizes of the transactions between the ONTOCHAIN network and the other blockchain systems. Next slide, please. So the 4th topic is about the actual design of the infrastructure. So this could be based on Ethereum, as it is explained here, but other proposals could also be accepted in case we have really a strong case for using them. But what we want to see is a replicating methodology and technology that we can actually build a testbed, testing environment, on which all the upcoming software would be actually tested, demonstrated, and so on. And the partners, the core partners in this project, and the partners from the first open call are already in considering whether and how to participate in this joint infrastructure, which is going to be designed as open, so that other potential partners could integrate in near future. So what we want to see here is really convincing case against the huge volume of real world transactions. We have been considering various level 2 side chains and so on, but there would be any other approach that would really be convincingly explained in the project proposal would be also considered. So you see here different schemes to increase the throughput in order to sustain a high or huge volume of real world transactions, efficient data transmission mechanisms, ability to store data effectively on the platform with limited resources, and prototypes on how different chains can be linked to each other on a hierarchical and scalable basis. Next slide, please. And the fifth topic is the topic.
The fifth. Sorry, Caroline, it's the fifth. Yes.
The fifth topic is the topic that I already spoke about in the beginning. So this is somehow the tools of the front end, the tools, the presentational layer of the ONTOCHAIN ecosystem, where we want to see a demonstration case of a semantic-based marketplace. So here from the applicants, it could work with apartments, with land, with cars, with maybe copyrights, maybe with part tracing, anything that would be also still related to the semantics and the marketplace. And we want to see the showcase of all the technology that has been already designed and developed in the first call and in the second call. So we want to see some sort of really nice demonstrator where there would be ambitious use cases that involve the issues of trust, verifiable credentials, identities, on-chain and off-chain data management, maybe integrate the use of the oracles and things like that. So this is what we want to see on the top part of the ecosystem, something that is showing the power of this type of ecosystem with all its contributing points. Incorporation of property graphs, as you can see here, ability to manage ontological information in the system and so on. So thank you, and I pass it now again to Thanasis.
So the last topic, the sixth topic, is about data provenance. So we want to revisit this topic as well in the open call too. Data provenance metadata is intended to help towards a more detailed picture of how data was created, collected, where it was stored, how it was used, modified, transformed. This is very important for and related to the data privacy and the provisions of GDPR. So this is linked somehow to automated checking of the compliance of the data handling against the GDPR. The automated recording of any processing, of any records of processing activities that happen on top of the data. It's about recording the business processes and especially the supply chain management processes. But in general, any processes that are applied on the data, yes. Of course, the scalability of storing this information is also in place here. You cannot store everything, of course, on chain. We need automated verification of rules compliance in business processes. Again, this is another kind of smart contract that instead of checking the legal compliance, is checking the compliance against some rules in business processes, and we want to rely on existing ONTOCHAIN components for data semantics regarding the business processes. So with this, we complete now the presentation of the 6 topics of the Open Call 2. Just to mention, to summarize, that we have 2 topics in markets in general. To remove any biases there is very important. To link with semantics is very important as well, and to assure the trustworthiness of the services and the data exchange is also critical. So then, Caroline.
So thank you, Thanasis and Vlado. Just perhaps, Thanasis, can you just tell us 2-3 words on the open topic that is also a possibility for the applicant?
Yes. Okay, we mentioned here several verticals like overall objectives, and then we also summarized 6 topics. But in general, we want to attract any kind of applications or any kind of, any kind of project applications that would contribute to the overall objectives of this second open call of ONTOCHAIN. So if you think that something fits to the overall objective or to the overall goal that we have for this second year, and we didn't cover with these 6 topics, please feel free to apply with that topic and we will consider it. Okay, and we may find it that indeed it is very useful, it contributes towards our goals, and it can be fully eligible for funding.
Thank you, Thanasis. So let's move on to how it is possible for you to apply, and the eligibility criteria and the selection process. So what do we want? We want project developing scalable blockchain, decentralized reputation system, and semantic web technologies to achieve trustworthy content handling and information exchange, as well as trustworthy service exchange in the next generation internet. So with as a basis, one of these 6 ONTOCHAIN Open Call 2 topics, or as just aforementioned by Thanasis, you can also base your application on an open topic relevant to the implementation of the ONTOCHAIN ecosystem. Who is eligible? In fact, we are calling all internet researchers, innovators, and developers from high-tech companies, academia, and even team of natural persons. So in Open Call 1, it was also open to individuals, but for this Open Call 2, I just want to mention that we will select only team of natural persons, and of course high-tech companies and academia applicants. So this applicant must be legally established in a European member state, or should be H2020 associated countries, or also overseas countries and territories linked to the member states. I want also to remark here that there is a maximum funding that can receive one beneficiary. This is 200k euro for let's say the 3 open call. So if you already participate in Open Call 1 and you get some funding there, you have to be careful if you want to participate in Open Call 2 or even in Open Call 3, not to exceed this limit. So the proposal should be submitted all for large projects with respective objective and work plan. However, all proposals should also clearly list the functionality that is going to be provided by each one of them if they get selected as a short project. So I will explain just now in detail what does it mean to be selected for a long project and what does it mean to be selected for a short project. So the selection process, there is 3 phases. The first one, this is the eligibility check. Okay, so at the end of this first phase, some proposal will be rejected if not eligible. This can happen, or selected for the evaluation process, so which is the phase 2. Mainly concerning proposal evaluation. And at that time, there will be again 2 possibilities, or to be rejected because the proposal that does not fit the objective of this open call to, for example. And for the one that will be accepted, so this will be the best, at least the one that match with the objective of open call to, will be selected to the third phase of this evaluation process, which will consist in online interview. So here you will have to present your proposal during 10 minutes, and you will be submitted to a batch of questions by evaluators during 20 minutes. At the end of this online interview, we will select the applicant that will go for long project and the applicant that will go for short project. We will also consider a reserve list, meaning that if any of the selected projects for long-term or short-term decide to withdraw for any kind of reason, then we will take the applicant that are on the reserve list according to their ranking. So in fact, there will be 12 projects that will be selected, 6 long projects, 6 small projects, and the order will be on the reserve list project. So I just recall here that you have in your proposal to set the plan for large projects, as if you were selected for a large project, and then the path for the long project or the short project will be decided by the expert. So that means that in your plan also you have to propose what you will consider if you are selected for a short project. The open call to indicative timeline. So as I already mentioned, the call is launched. The deadline is for the 15th of September. The evaluation and selection process will start right after the deadline, so the 16th of September, and will last till the end of October. Then there will be a contracting phase. This will last only 12 days. So please, it is really important for you to have a look to the sub-agreement template that is in the guide for applicants at the time you are building your proposal. So in order to know what is requested in this grant, and if, of course, it satisfies your expectation. So the small project will last from the 12th of November till the 12th of April. And the large project will start also the 12th of November and will end in September 2022. Sorry. Why? The application process. So for your application, the entry point for all proposal is the F6S portal. So you have here the link, but it is also mentioned in the guide for applicant and also on our website. Please note that submission received by any other channel will be automatically discarded. So provide a comprehensive research proposal according to the ONTOCHAIN template that is also in the guide for applicants. And also, of course, taking care to apply the instructions set in the guide for applicants. Do not forget to fill in the administrative part, including any obligatory supporting documents specified in the guide for applicants. So mainly if there is more than 3 participants. So the tip and tricks for a good proposal, this is to read the ONTOCHAIN background documents, to read, of course, the ONTOCHAIN Open Call 2 document and the guide for applicants, to check the eligibility criteria that are really well specified in the guide for applicants, to take a look also at the frequently asked questions on our website, and to use the official ONTOCHAIN template for your proposal. All the info that you need are specified on our ONTOCHAIN website, on the F6S portal also, and of course you can find also some important information on our social media. So I will now leave the floor to Marcel Müller from Jaden X, and let him express his feedback and his experience on Open Call 1 and how it looks like to be part of it.
Thank you very much, Caroline. As I said, I am Marcel Müller. I am a German entrepreneur and researcher, and we are beneficiaries of the Open Call 1 that started in April, I believe, and we made it there up until the second phase. What we did there in our proposal is we proposed a product called Knowledge X for trusted data science in the cloud. So the idea is that Knowledge X is a decentralized platform that connects freelance data scientists and the owners of data in a trusted way to solve data-driven challenges. We are using blockchain and trusted execution environments to enable an environment where users can get an intimate view about what is happening with their data and foster trust between the two different parties. And our experience with the ONTOCHAIN ecosystem and in the ONTOCHAIN consortium was very good so far. I think we have here a very great community of researchers and innovators. So the first open call already had 17 projects, from which 7 projects made it to the second round. And from my experience, it's a very good approach to get into contact with other people who are in the same area, to work together and to create cool things in a very creative environment. Plus, also, you have to admit that it's very helpful that we are getting funding from the European Union or from the European Commission over there. Of course, the cash money, but there's also a lot of other benefits, not in cash. For example, we got a bunch of AWS credits through F6S, and that's helping us to work on our ONTOCHAIN project. We're also involved in a lot of plenary discussions to really build an ecosystem and not only an application by itself, which I find very interesting, and which we will also be a part of after our own call finished. And our next steps with our Knowledge X project is, of course, to further develop our MVP into a commercial product, even after the first open call is finished, and eventually raise venture capital to make it a real startup and provide long-term benefits that, of course, all started here with ONTOCHAIN. And I would really like to encourage all of you to think about applications that somewhat or projects that somewhat fit into this ecosystem that my colleagues here already explained to you or introduced to you, and see what is happening there. It's really a nice ecosystem, and I can strongly recommend, if you have an idea, just hand it in, and let's see what happens after. Back to you, Caroline.
Thank you, Marcel. Sorry for the slide. I have some problem with my mouse, but I forget also one slide, so I will just get back to it right now. So as you have understand with Marcel's presentation, why it is good to apply. In fact, of course, ONTOCHAIN will offer you equity-free funding. But not only, you will also receive coaching on technical and business aspects, access to top infrastructure, as well as visibility and promotion, which is very important actually. So through other innovators, industry, and investor.
Caroline, and maybe more, and maybe even most importantly, there is something that we neglected, that the applicants may have the opportunity to participate in a joint exploitation plan with the rest of the ONTOCHAIN ecosystem towards the joint exploitation of the platform. I mean business exploitation. So this is another, an additional thread of or motivator that for some of you may be really great.
Yes, exactly, Thanasis, and thank you to note this point, which is exactly perhaps the most important. So I was saying at the beginning that it is all about win-win exploitation. Yes, this is exactly the fact with ONTOCHAIN. So let's move now to the Q&A session. I just want, of course, to thank you to have attended, of course, this webinar. But any question that you might have are well received. So please write them in the Q&A chat box. And we will answer you. I can see that there is already 10 questions that have been answered, and there is 2 that are pending. So Sandra is asking, we have been part of ONTOCHAIN Open Call 1. We participated as a combination of 2 SMEs. Are we eligible in this construction for Open Call 2 as well? So I will answer to this question. Sandra, as you have understand, there is a limit that is fixed for the whole duration of the ONTOCHAIN project to 200k euro maximum for the beneficiaries. So you really have to find the good scheme in order to be able to participate again in the Open Call 2. That means that the funding you receive if you were 2 SMEs was not the maximum for Open Call 1, at least for each individual participant. So there is still a possibility for you. You have to be careful on that point. The second question from Juan Darosha. So we are building on Hyperledger Fabric with IBM support. My concerns are: A, if our development will need to run only in the ONTOCHAIN ecosystem. B, for the smart contract, if Ethereum is mandatory. C, what's the commitment outcome from us with ONTOCHAIN once the solution is developed in place? D, the project can be split just for one module. This is because of the budget to be granted. So there is several questions. Probably
I can take those.
Yes, please, Thanasis.
Okay, so our current intention is to stick with Ethereum 2. Having said that, any kind of solutions developed in different blockchain environments can be still useful or employed in the ONTOCHAIN ecosystem through the functionality of the gateways that we want to support through this second open call. So we want to build these gateways. I suppose that one of these gateways should be or will be among Ethereum and Hyperledger Fabric. So I guess that this functionality could still be accessible. But I said already that our initial commitment is with Ethereum. And the third, regarding the third bullet, what is your commitment? So already in the open call that has been announced, it is said that once you go or once you get funded for something which is innovative, that you develop only for ONTOCHAIN, that was not developed before. Once you develop something for ONTOCHAIN, then there is the commitment that you will contribute this component to the ONTOCHAIN platform, that this component is going to be part of the ONTOCHAIN platform, if this is what we think that is appropriate for the future development of the platform. And we negotiate with you a joint exploitation plan. And the fourth question, the project can be split. I don't get this question, to tell you the truth. If you can elaborate, I will answer because I don't know if anybody else gets this D question.
No, but I believe it refers also to the one we just answered with this limitation of 200K. So in fact, the idea is to, when you apply, it's to do and implement the project from the beginning till the end and to reach the objectives that are set. And that's it. So now it's once again, if I can precise a bit more, it's up to you to find the good scheme in order to be able to, the good scheme in terms of team, let's say, of applicant, to be able to be funded for open call if you have been already funded in open call 1. I don't know, it seems that Miguel, you want also to answer? Okay, so no, it seems that not. Someone asked the following question. So the scope of the ONTOCHAIN open call related to knowledge management. What is the definition of knowledge management to use in this context, since it can be defined rather broadly? So Vlado or Thanasis, please.
Yeah, I can take this.
Already put an answer on this because it's, I guess it's answered at the moment. So we think about knowledge management in the context of the semantic web, the technologies of the semantic web. So for example, we have different schemas or ontologies that represent different entities, like entities that are being traded, like cars and apples, people that engage into some sort of business or even services. And these are characterized by specific semantic formats like linked data or probably even formats of higher expressivity level. And here what we want to see is that the information, the instance data that is being managed is also managed through blockchain mechanisms. It's based on consensus mechanisms. For example, if the car changes the color, this is going through and recorded on the blockchain. The rules for participation in the ecosystem are being verified. Maybe some credentials can be also verified. For example, the quality of the color or the type of the color that was used to change the color of the car and things like that. So this is what we mean by knowledge management. Is that clear?
But
yeah.
also any kind of let's say machine-to-machine communication based on semantics, which could be envisioned in the future based on different metadata describing services or products. Automated communication, machine-to-machine, is envisioned within the scope of this project. So if I can take the next from Eric, what is the role of iExec in your blockchain solution? iExec is a full partner of ONTOCHAIN. They are contributing their platform resources for the purposes of testing and experimentation. They are providing RLC tokens for this purpose as well. They are providing support and mentoring in the sub-projects. In general, I mean, the platform per se is not part of the ONTOCHAIN. The iExec platform is not part of the ONTOCHAIN framework, but still the know-how and the, let's say, components of the platform are there for people to really test and experiment with solutions that are using iExec platform features like trusted enclaves. And this has happened in the past. And even one of our speakers today was using this platform, Marcel.
So yes, also when I was talking about access to top infrastructure, in fact, yes, you will have access to the iExec platform. So next.
Yeah, I guess, yes, I guess there is a conflict. As I said previously, and I want to emphasize this, because we had several occasions where we had the kind of misunderstanding with the applicants. So, as I said, we want you to develop something for ONTOCHAIN which has not been promised or funded by different organizations. So whatever is going to be funded by ONTOCHAIN should not be concurrently funded by other sources, because this is, first of all, against the obligations that we have against the EC. It's against the rules of for double funding. So we want original work, and this is also something which is crucial for the future joint exploitation of the work that is going to be contributed.
Okay, thank you, Thanasis. The question was regarding if there were any conflicts if the applicant was also applying in another type of role. So thank you, Thanasis, for the answer. From Armando, so if we want to propose a concrete business application, we will have to wait the third call. So I don't know, Vlado or Thanasis.
So of course we have one open topic. So if the idea is so cool, it's also possible to apply under that topic. But also we have the topic number 5 at least as an let's say the focal point of the project, so that it gives us good vision. And if you consider something similar or even better, or something completely different, but with the ability to showcase the benefits of the currently developed technologies and those technologies that are expected to result from call 2, then we are of course very much interested in your application even at this stage. So I think you see the topic 5 and you get an idea of what is the property of the marketplace with the trust mechanisms and so on. So whether you should consider your application that you propose would be even better or will contain new and other features that would really be used to showcase as much as possible the benefits of trustworthy content handling and information exchange is of course available, and you can apply.
Can I complement something? If you feel that your application is also contributing components or specific software solutions to the topics that we mentioned, then definitely you fit. If not, if it is just an end user application, although, as Vlado said, you are still free to submit it, except if it is a very surprising application, it's not going to have a very good fate in this call, but you will have to wait for the third call for if it is just an application. If it contributes also to the rest of the topics, if it has several software components that they contribute to the topics, then of course it fits.
Okay, thank you, Sanasi. So there is a question from Luisa, in fact, 2 questions. So
we had this capability. I mean, can someone participate on an individual capacity without a team? We had this capability in the first call. Eventually, we excluded this because, I mean, as an individual person, we don't have this capability anymore. Individual organization, of course. Individual company, of course. Team of people, of course. But individual person, natural person, this is no longer possible because I mean, after consultations and discussions, we concluded on the fact that it's very difficult for one single natural person to really deliver the amount of work that is necessary to be done in these projects. So it's not realistic that one individual person applies. So yeah, not anymore, I would say.
And to complement the answer, because there is this second question. So if you can define later on the team once you learn if you have been selected, of course not, because in the proposal you have to show the credibility of the team, of course, and to show your operational capacity, your experience, your expertise. So for all that, you have to determine your team at the moment you are constructing your proposal. So I think that's it. There is no other question. So please, if you have, just put them in the chat box.
Or you can say if you like to say something. So we are welcome to hear any to say any opinion if you like.
Yes, of course. Of course, you can also comment, and your opinion is also welcome.
Of course, you have to notify us that you want to speak because your microphones are muted at the moment. So yes, I don't see any other question, to tell you the truth. Okay.
So is a team with academic affiliation preferred compared to a purely professional team without academic affiliation? So So no, this is not a criterion of evaluation. I mean, you are all welcome to participate as long as you are part of a company, of a university or a research organization, let's say, or a team of individual persons. So this is my answer, and there is no preference for any kind of profile. One other question, is the funding for a small or long project related to the budget of the project? Will the company have to declare its cost at the end of the project in order to get the funding, with the funding being based on the cost? So, yes, Thanasis, please.
Okay, regarding the second part of the question, regarding the declaration of costs, no, it's a lump sum payment scheme. So you don't have to specify personnel costs or equipment costs or any kind of analytical report on the financial expenses that you have. So you get the amount as a lump sum. And regarding the first part of the question, no, the funding is fixed for small and long projects. So small projects are going to get that amount, and long projects are going to get that amount, different amount, regardless of the cost statement of your project. We have a fixed budget, which is lump sum, regardless of the personnel or of any kind of cost structure that you have.
So thank you, Thanasis. If I may add, the European Commission just also asked us for track record of your expenses in case of audit. But of course, as Thanasis says, as it is a lump sum, this is not asked, at least if there is no audit. So one other question, sorry, this has already been asked, but I joined late. Are there differences between this call and the first one? Is it possible to submit now a proposal that was not found eligible for funding in the first call? So we will not read on the whole presentation. Of course, this presentation is recorded and you will have access to it. But actually, to summarize, in Open Call 2, there is 6 new topics with one more open topic. And as long as your proposal is related to one of these topics and is relevant to the ONTOCHAIN ecosystem, let's say, development, yes, you can. Just not repeat the weaknesses that were in your Open Call 1 proposal, and be careful on that point. And yes, strictly commit and match with the guideline for applicant for this Open Call 2, which is quite different from Open Call 1. Yeah.
I can take this one. You said that you will negotiate a joint exploitation plan for any selected solutions. What if no agreement is reached? Will it jeopardize the funding? So thank you very much for this question. With the Open Call, if I'm not mistaken, Caroline, please correct me if I'm wrong. In the appendix, there is also the contract that you will have to sign. So please consult carefully the contract that you will have to sign with us, which dictates the rules of the game. But so this is known from the beginning. No surprises from our side. Regarding the joint exploitation plan, this will come if it comes. I'm talking about only very successful projects. It will come if it comes later. later on the process after the finalization of your solution, and when we are going towards the launch of the whole ONTOCHAIN platform as a commercial product. Then all kind of contributors will be consulted individually and as a whole in order to have exploitation agreements with all of them for really establishing win-win business outcomes. So this is not related to the original funding, but still you will have to carefully consider. I cannot emphasize much on this. Please read the contract. We don't want last-minute negotiations about terms that we announce already now.
And just to also to note, you have in the administrative form, you have to confirm that you have read this agreement in advance, since it is in the guide for applicants. And what concern intellectual property, everything is defined in it. So there is, as Panasis said, there is no surprise for you. And everything is dictated by the terms of this agreement.
Yeah, please read it carefully. It answers everything. Okay, so the contract that you will have to sign if you get accepted.
Okay, so I think we have answered Michel's question.
Yes.
Let's move on now to the next one. To use a concrete example, topic 1, decentralized oracle for ONTOCHAIN. If you propose a solution and as a part of such a solution, you would like to combine off-chain data and on-chain, can your solution reuse an existing open source component? For example, API 3 AirNode license under MIT as part of the proposed solution? So
yes. Yes.
Definitely, that's really great, particularly if you can show in the proposal that the open source component that you're using, we're actually loving this type of approach, and that your components that you're using are really widely applicable and really of high quality, and you state that in your proposal, and you say, okay, so we're going to take this and that and maybe some other technology, maybe integrate them or maybe use them in an innovative way to address the decentralized oracles topic. That would be really fantastic for us to see. Please note that in this decentralized oracles topic, what Thanasis already explained, we are also looking into, not only numerical oracles, but also oracles that could serve the needs of some sort of semantic blockchain.
Yeah, categorical.
Yeah. So then, yes, for that.
As long as the licenses are permissive, you are free to combine whatever solutions are there. Of course, there should be an innovative part, which is the core of your project. I mean, you are not just integrators of things, but you have to also contribute something original on your own, right?
If I can complement, the proposal evaluation is based on 3 criteria: excellence, impact, and implementation. And of course, in the excellence criterion, we are carefully looking at any innovation and originality in your proposal. So this is important to be considered. Okay, so let's move now to one more question from Michel. I understood that the specification out of Open Code 1 will be available only in September. How can we build a response for the 15th of September without having access to this specification? So I can start with that in the open call document that is available on our website. You have a lot of information on what is done in the different 17 projects that have been selected in Open Call 1, and also on the 7 remaining ones. So you can already have a good vision of what will be achieved for September, and to integrate this knowledge in your proposal. I don't know if
what exactly specifications you say that are going to be out in September? I mean, we are still in the preparation. I mean, the winners, the current winners which are running the projects until the end of September, actually, end of October, but until end of September they develop their specifications. So they still didn't define the several details of their solutions and I would say the APIs, but you don't need those. I mean, we didn't ask for any kind of solutions that are ready to be integrated to the existing software. Of course, we will get there, but you don't have to really know in advance the APIs of all different components that exist already in the system in order to provide a proposal for a solution in the topics that were announced. So we can provide you with any kind of more clarifications on this if necessary. But really, I think personally that that you don't need any kind of more details, and it can be more confusing for specifying your solution and very dangerous to specify your solution in a way which is too specific.
Yes, I would like to also add to this that, you know, the call topic text is really, I would say, very punctual, clear. It should be, at least from our viewpoint, in what we expect as results from the 6 open call topics. So in case you have some specific questions, you can still ask them via the website of the project, and we will publicly answer the questions.
And of course, we will have subsequent webinars. This is the first one. And if something really, I mean, if you have a valid point, then we will include these clarifications in the next webinars as well.
Okay, so thank you, Vlado and Thanasis. I think this question also has been answered. There is still one pending question. We answer in part, so I think it is more about jeoparding the funding now. So as already said, you have the agreement, the draft agreement in the open call guide for applicants. So everything is mentioned there. So you in advance, you are well aware of what is expected, what are the rules. So please, in fact, if an agreement is signed with you, if you are funded, then I believe that there will be no problem for joint exploitation. So that's it. There is no more question. Any other comment or that we should answer, or any other opinion that we should take into account?
Yes, particularly about this joint exploitation plan that Michael asks. So what we want here is that we have, of course, different software solutions serving different needs, potentially of software companies, potentially of specific applications. And what we want to see is that the value of the software ecosystem is not just adding A plus B plus C, and then we have a package that somebody really needs and wants. But there is an extra value in you know, the ability to combine the software solutions. For example, the ability to use identity verification mechanisms of the HIBI project, which, for example, allows us to get a notary proof of signature by using newly modeled identity cards that are going to be soon available across Europe. So the point here is that this type of software solutions would make much bigger value for themselves and for the software ecosystem if they are part of the software ecosystem. So we are really trying to find the key, let's say, value points for different software solutions, so that the unity of those solutions makes a greater value and a greater let's say also competitive advantage in the world of blockchains that are currently supporting, of course, smart contracts and so on, but not to such an extent the ability to manage metadata and semantics and ontologies and knowledge. So that is the added value. And also, of course, on top of that, the trustworthiness of applications and content handling and ability to have the market mechanisms and so on. So what we are looking for here is software components that one can use in order to build new and innovative applications in the third open call of the project. Okay, so thanks from my side.
So I want to mention something as a complement to what Vlado has said. So I don't know if, first of all, regarding this question, which has been asked regarding the description of building blocks and stuff of the ONTOCHAIN ecosystem, and what parts are already offered and which parts are open for this open call too. I think this was part of the presentation, and if you check the presentation and the recordings, you will find this information. So I don't think that we should, say anything more regarding this. But I wanted to really pass you or try to present you what is our vision. The vision is here that we don't make a collection of individual contributions, but we build a new, let's say, platform, ecosystem, Vlado says, or other people say, which is jointly more beneficial than its constituents, as Vlado said. So it creates some added value. So we aim overall for joint exploitation plans, for being able to commercialize this platform as a whole. We look for win-win outcomes. We look for business collaboration with all these contributors to this platform, which we hope and we aim to be very competitive to existing ones. And in general, I mean, I want to emphasize that those that look for joint exploitation, those that look for joint commercialization, joint platforms, or combining their solutions with other solutions, these people came to the right place and they will apply to the right call. Those people that want to attract some funding for developing their own solutions in order to do their individual business, then these people didn't come to the right place and they will not get funding. So this is, I mean, I try to be as clear as possible so that we have a common understanding of what we want to achieve, and of course to align your goals with our goals, of course, and find some common ground.
And if I may add, it has to be really clear in the proposal what will be the added value for the ONTOCHAIN ecosystem of what you propose. So this is something that we really take care of during the evaluation. Okay, is there any question, comment, opinion? So if there is no sign from your side, I don't know if my colleagues want to add something, and then we will close this webinar.
Just to thank the audience, because this was one of the most interactive, I would say, webinars that we have had. Thank you very much for this kind of very interactive session that we had. I hope that it was very clear to you. You gave us a very nice opportunity to explain several things that we wanted to explain. And thank you very much for your participation.
Vlado, anything else?
So there is this anonymous attendee that we trust fully. It's not somebody from the project or somebody else who said it's a top initiative. Thanks for the clear responses and vision. So we really thank you for all potential contributors to our project, and we would be really happy to collaborate with all of you. We also want really to integrate you in the project, in this work and this vision as much as possible. So we will be really happy to receive your applications. So thank you, and see you next time on the next webinar.
Thank you to all of us. I believe that all the words have been said by my colleagues, and yes, we are looking forward for your application. Thanks a lot, and we close this webinar. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.